Colorado's slow testing rate concerns public health leaders, why testing seemingly healthy people still matters. Former Governor Hickenlooper made a healthy effort to delay testifying at his ethics hearing, but he's running out of options. A first challenge of the current governor's power during the pandemic is won by the Gov. This fight isn't close to over. And one workplace shows us what happens when some employees defy public health guidelines while they expect their at-risk coworkers to show up. The workplace is the state legislature.
It's a shame that I had to drive across town against my doctor's orders to be here.
If you are that afraid, maybe you should think about getting somebody here who's not and who can show up.
And I'll have a word about that kind of taunting of our at-risk neighbors next.
The cafe in Castle Rock that defied the governor's public health orders so that people could crowd inside and swap respiratory droplets now has Douglas County's permission to reopen. Democratic Governor Jared Polis specifically said, though, that he wanted that place shut down for a month so they would be closed when others had the ability to reopen. So now we wait to see what the governor is going to do. Tri-County Health rescinded its order to close C&C Cafe. That cafe's packed opening drew in politicians and the public in a mask-free celebration of freedom that also led to a 5-digit online fundraiser and a lawsuit against the state. Governor Polis has won the first round in the first legal challenge to his pandemic power. The business leaders who sued him to stop ballot petition signature gathering by email and mail are sure to appeal today's district court ruling in favor of the governor. A tougher ruling today against Colorado's former Democratic governor, John Hickenlooper, who is now running out of ways to delay his testimony at his ethics hearing, coming right in the middle of his Democratic primary for Senate. The Independent Ethics Commission ruled today that Hickenlooper cannot mail in his testimony, has to show up. They've set up a remote video hearing for next week. The commission did say that the Republican group accusing Hickenlooper of accepting illegal gifts may have to go and get a subpoena to force him to testify. If somebody is trying to serve a subpoena on the former governor, that would give new meaning right now to safer at home. Let's talk about testing, shall we? And whether Colorado is meeting the need or falling far behind the pace in other states. State is well short of its goal to be testing 8,500 people a month. State and private labs did a bit less than 4,400 tests yesterday, yet the state is still restricting test availability to people who are sick or asymptomatic frontline workers. Our Steve Steger explores why testing other people who seem healthy is a key way to fight the virus.
What we can learn now will help us in the fall.
Infectious disease specialist Dr. Michelle Barron with UC Health says lagging test numbers worry her.
For us to be able to know how much disease is out there, we have to be able to test for it.
Colorado has yet to meet its late May goal of 8,500 tests per day. Our state ranks near the bottom of COVID-19 tests per capita, according to data from Johns Hopkins University.
And now that you can get testing, you really should get tested.
All of this despite Governor Polis announcing about a week ago that the state has the capacity it needs. And if you have symptoms, you can get a test, complete with an uncomfortable looking test of his own. But the time it took to get here may be what's hurting the effort now.
For so long, they've been told, oh, we don't have tests available for you. You have to meet these very strict criteria. And so I think that's obviously been kind of ingrained to a degree in people's heads.
Barron said more wide testing of people without symptoms would help Colorado get closer to the testing goal and give us better data on how COVID works.
Asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic testing is important to better understand how things are being spread, because we're making all these decisions about masking and social distancing based on stuff that may or may not be correct. And so I think we need data.
What will it take for the state to say, if you don't have symptoms, come on in and get a test? It's unclear because we reached out to them today and never heard back. Barron says another barricade to testing this time of year is the time of year. A lot of people think that they have allergy symptoms when it really could be mild COVID symptoms. She says that testing is so important, Kyle, not only when it comes to contact tracing, making sure you're staying away from people who might be vulnerable to this, but it also gives more data and allows the people who are making decisions to make better decisions come the fall.
And at the end of the day, even if you're feeling okay, if you know you have COVID, well then great. Don't go visit grandma. That's news you can use, and she can too.
Sure. And obviously we're telling folks, and the state is telling folks, if you're in that vulnerable population, you want to stay inside as well. But the key here is, if you think you don't need a test, but you have the ability to do so, if you go in and you get the test, then that adds to that data pool, which gives us a lot more information about this disease that we know very little about.
All right, just a little tickle on the brain, as we've said. All right, thank you, Steve. Democrats in the state legislature are now looking to crack down on price gouging, which seemed to us like, well, certainly that was a problem before the pandemic too, though, right?
There's like two ways that bills pass in a legislative body. One is because they haven't been addressed in a long time, and another is because there's a focusing event that draws everyone's attention to the gaps in our statutes. When I'm out knocking doors and talking to constituents before this pandemic, price gouging didn't come up.
That was a pretty fresh mask on Garnett there. They have not dropped this bill yet, so we cannot see the exact language on it, so we're going to have to keep you updated there. Employees at your workplace probably do not get a vote on whether you all are going to work from home. At the state legislature, they do. And today it turned into a battle between legislators who have pre-existing health conditions and another who suggested that they're sissies.
It's a shame that I had to drive across town against my doctor's orders to be here, to speak up and ask for some compassion.
You need to be here. If you are that afraid, maybe you should think about getting somebody here who's not and who can show up.
All of the Democrats today voted in favor of remote participation for legislators. All of the Republicans, including those who are choosing not to wear masks in the Capitol, oppose the idea. So what happens if this goes on at your office? If you're concerned about your health or the health of somebody at your house and your coworkers won't even follow basic public health guidance? Here with that is Marshall Zellinger.
It's not unusual for the legislature to be divided.
I should not be here.
The message I bring today is that I refuse to live in fear.
I'm damn sick and tired of Zoom.
These are serious health consequences and personal choices.
For hours this morning, both the House and Senate debated whether or not to allow remote participation. Democrats talked about health concerns and being the voice of their voters. Republicans talked about taking risks and being the voice of their voters. Since Democrats control both the House and the Senate, it passed, meaning lawmakers can work and vote from home if need be. So what about the politics in your business? What if you're required to show up in person with non-mask wearing coworkers and that makes you uncomfortable?
Is there a one-size-fits-all answer?
Of course not.
Lori Ray with Employers Council helps guide businesses through the uncertain future of social distancing and employee rights.
I would notify my HR department or my manager immediately.
If the setting is clearly in violation of public health orders, or frankly, even if the person's not sure, we're happy to receive phone calls.
Back at the Capitol, before Democrats voted to allow work from home, a Republican senator known for controversial statements added yet another.
I feel safer here than I feel anywhere. And you know what? I go to Walmart. And you know what? I don't wipe down that cart every time I take it out. I put my hands on, shove it through, and I'm going shoulder to shoulder with people in the aisles, even though Walmart has taken precautions to say you go this way down that aisle and that way down that aisle. People just aren't ready to accept that.
This was one of my birthday presents, just FYI. There have been 3 House lawmakers who have stayed away for health reasons. They can now vote from home. They don't have to. It's just an option out there for you and your business. If you're public facing, there's a requirement that you have your mask on. But if you are a private business, there's some advisories out there that if you're in your office, you don't necessarily need to wear the mask. So there's a difference between public businesses and private businesses.
And full disclosure, Marshall, we should tell people that at work, the two of us sit facing each other from less than a distance of 6 feet. So when we're back, we're going to be swapping droplets, or as we will call them, Patriot particles. We'll be swapping Patriot particles with each other.
I'm looking for the partition that I can bring from home right now.
Something tells me it's not going to be see-through. Marshall's just going to go for a wall. Thank you, sir. You heard there from State Senator Vicki Marble of Fort Collins, who led the charge at the legislature for the anti-maskers today. Not surprising from the Republican senator who made news over the years for linking problems in the black race to fried chicken, suggesting that Mexicans should eat more vegetables, offering an ode to white men, and suggesting that northern Colorado secede and join the state of Wyoming. While we heard Senator Marble there proudly proclaim that she refuses to wear a mask in a crowded Walmart as she shoves through the aisles shoulder to shoulder, I couldn't stop but think of the Walmart employees who are face-to-face each day with a lot of Vicki Marbles. Walmart employees like Sandy Coons, still working there at the store in Aurora at the age of 72. Sandy Coons died of COVID-19. So did a security guard at that same Walmart. Today, Senator Marble mocked her own co-workers in the legislature, saying, if you're that afraid, maybe you should think about getting somebody here who's not. Senator Marble's words and her actions send that exact same message to all the at-risk Coloradans who are just trying to make a living or just trying to shop safely at places like the senator's Walmart. The message is clear. Get out of the way. The Vicki Marbles of the world are coming through.
Park rangers won't have Rocky just to themselves anymore. Well, them and the elk. Here come the hordes of humans. And when it comes to returning to restaurants right now, tastes differ.
We keep staying closed. We're gonna lose people in other ways.
The scary part is that some people just don't care.
Two views on a complicated issue. Next.
America's third busiest national park hasn't seen a visitor in 2 months. Bet the elk appreciated the respite. Our Ryan Hare headed up to Rocky Mountain National Park as rangers reopened it to show us all what we've been missing.
Describing the first day back wouldn't be fair to Rocky Mountain National Park. Just know, the views are still spectacular, the elk still plentiful.
There's good fishing, especially up a little ways that not a lot of people know about.
And Sean Lynch hopes the fish still biting.
I come out to the woods, I feel better. I smile the whole way I'm up hiking. It's a peaceful spot. I started coming here with my mom, I don't know, years and years and years ago. And I've just kept it up.
We won't spoil Sean's hidden gem.
They don't know where I am.
But you're now more than welcome to search for it for the first time in 2 months.
The only actual interactions I had with that day were with two moose.
Park Ranger Michael Lukens looks forward to seeing more people during this pandemic, at a distance, of course.
It was totally strange not seeing anyone. You know, I've had the opportunity to go out in the backcountry with very specific missions. It's been my experience just out on trail coming across wildlife, and all of a sudden they look at me like, what? Well, you're back? Where'd you guys go?
We'd prefer the animals not ask or question the strange masks we wear when we can't keep our distance. Soon we'll also have to make reservations online to help control the crowds, and doing so might not be so bad.
A lot of us, I think, come here to enjoy wilderness, to experience some solitude, and I think maybe they'll have a little bit better chance of doing that.
A better chance to help us describe what we've been dreaming of for months.
This is it right here. This is what I'm hoping for. It's a beautiful day. You know, you can hear ravens chirping, breeze in the trees. I'll stand in the river for a while if I catch something great. If I don't, I'm good.
For Next, I'm Ryan Harrer.
A timed reservation system starts on June 4th. You'll have to pay a fee, reserve a slot. 13,500 people are going to be allowed into Rocky each day. That is 60% of the park's normal capacity.
Sunshine and 82 today, way above average. Temperatures typically in the mid-70s this time of year. But a cool front is bringing cooler air in and the chance for some showers. And those showers could be heavy yet tonight. Little thunder, little lightning. Once this system rolls out, we have a drier overnight period and the chance for more thunderstorms on Thursday. We're not looking for severe storms tonight, but a brief heavy downpour, a little water for your plants, your flowers, your garden, and maybe your trees. We'll take that, and a little thunder and lightning to boot. So the storms move in between now and 9, then skies clear or low at 52. Tomorrow, sunshine to start, 73 in the afternoon, a cooler day with isolated storms. Actually, isolated storms both Thursday and Friday. Saturday looks like a stormy day, good chance of heavy thunder showers, and then we warm close to 90 as we kick off the first part of next week.
Should you stay or should you go? As Coloradans decide whether or not they're comfortable going to restaurants again, your perspectives. Next.
We hear from people who are vocally excited about the idea of returning to restaurants in Colorado, and we also hear from those who are ruling it out completely. I'm guessing there are a lot of Coloradans in the middle, people who are looking carefully at the situation, considering their options, and each perspective.
My name is Shelley Hora. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I used to go out and run errands and do all the chores and run my middle schooler to school. I don't do that anymore.
My name is Elizabeth Talamantes. I'd like to see more places open up. You have to do what is best for you. And if you don't want to go out, then stay home.
And I think that's what scares me the most, is that people don't care how this virus affects people.
If we keep staying closed, we're going to lose people in other ways. We're going to lose people in so many other ways. I want to respect anyone's right to choose, to do what they feel is their best choice.
And I think it's my responsibility to keep others safe. This is a disease or a virus that is killing a lot of people, and you don't know how it's going to affect everyone, even yourself.
I don't want to let fear drive my emotions.
Because I have underlying health conditions, I don't feel it's safe enough for me to go out. It's hard just to be at home, but now we have to stay at home because other people are so willing to get out or want to get out that it's hard for people like us that can't.
Two views through the lens of our photojournalist, Austin Knox. We're back with feedback from a frontline worker who has some thoughts on Senator Vicki Marble. Next. A note in tonight from a viewer named Terry who writes, "Thanks for your comments sticking up for the Walmart and other essential workers having to endure the attitudes of people like Senator Vicki Marble." Terry writes, "It is exhausting to have the same conversation over and over again with customers as I check out their groceries. Thanks for speaking up for all of us who are just trying to work and take care of our families." Richard disagrees, says, "Kyle, used to admire you. You've turned out to be nothing but a left-wing nut job to the dismay, I'm sure, of 9 News sponsors." I can't speak for sponsors, Richard. I'm sure they're grateful for the viewership of Colorado's most watched local newscast, but you'd have to check with them. See you next time.